Right, Campbell's comments out and about, getting out and around a lot of the studs. Mark Barton joins me from Nutrien. Hello, Mark.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Very, very good. Beautiful day here in God's country in Victoria.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I was in Tamworth a couple of days ago and they tell me you nearly got the heater on and blowing a gale there today. So a lot better in Victoria than New South Wales at the minute.
And Brett Coffey joins me. Brett, you like that, God's country?
Absolutely.
This one will go up earlier. I did an interview as well with Brett that'll probably go up middle of next week. Anyone want to know a little bit more about the Alabar farm and the likes, stay tuned to Campbell's comments because we had a bit of a good run through and a wide-ranging chat, I suppose is the best way to put it.
That's it, exactly. It's good.
We're here now to promote Nutrien and what Nutrien have got going on and the commitment from a lot of people as far as sponsors, Bardo, and growing the product. You guys are here to stay. You're in for the long haul, and it's great to get partners, I suppose, getting involved in a real strong manner for the sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've had a lot to learn. I think that's it. Try different things, fail fast, but listen to the people that know. And along this early part of our journey, we've been lucky to have really strong support from, particularly the Alabar team, Brett in particular. They've seen how the marketing of standard breeds happens across the world, not just here in Australia. And I think, testament to that's probably Brett's input on the way our catalogue's laid out and the size, the style of the catalogue was direct feedback from some of the things that they've seen. So that's what's really important for us to learn from people that do know and build good relationships with other people in the industry.
It's probably one of the biggest things with this whole sale, Brett, is it is a big change to what a lot of traditionalists are very keen on, if you're used to, and it takes a little bit of getting around. Mark said there before about the sale catalogue, the way you have to register the bid and all the rest. But it's exciting and it's something very new, which is good for the sport.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, and I'll give Shannon Nixon some credit there. He probably his idea for that copy of that Lexington sale catalogue. I don't want him to watch it and arc up at me. But no, you're right. Like one of the things I was always real keen on was the trotters mixing with the paces and just having both in the same catalogue. They're both standard breds. They're both now got the same owners, the same trainers. Like there's not that much specialisation anymore. So that was just a no-brainer for me, and I'm glad that's happened. And the results we saw last year were a testament to, I think, that it worked. And
Mark alluded there before that not everything works. No. But we just have to grow. Anyone thinks that they were going to get it right the first year, they're kidding themselves.
Absolutely, and that's the really good thing about Nutrien is that they're willing to try things, and not everything will work, and they'll improve, and that's all you can ask. When you're doing business with anyone, is that they listen to feedback and take it on board, and hopefully learn from it and improve.
Yeah, and you have done that. Sponsors, as I said, Bardo, you guys are keen on getting them involved. Alabar and their race commitment to nominating a race, harass the trotters as well. It's important to growing the whole sport.
Oh, look, and I think it's having partners with similar interests. These guys breeding them, for Pat and his team with the trotters, and with these guys predominantly with paces. The success of the buyer is equally important to that people buying the horse that is the breeders and us as agents. So I think, we'll have our first 3 races in Sydney this year. We'll have Auctions Plus that provide our back office function and our sale platform. They've sponsored a race. Alabar Farms has sponsored the final of the Pacing Colts, and we've got Yabby Dam with the Mix X Trot. So it's 3 really good brands, long-term brands in the industry, and we're proud to be part of that.
And it is important because I think brand awareness, getting associated, 2 things associated with each other, is key to growing any small business and growing them all as one big business.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and it's all the little building blocks that make a successful animal. Like you look at genetically, Australia, we look at what happens internationally, but there's some of the best genetics in the world are coming in, trotting and pacing into this country. The work that goes into prepping young horses, like you talk to trainers getting to know the industry, they say, look, the benefit of buying a yearling at a yearling sale is so much of that pre-breaking work, that pre-training work's been done for them. And then you've got, like we're about to talk about feeds and nutrition. I think you get all of that. And I know the pasture work that goes on these stud farms. These horses get every possible chance to succeed.
Brett, before we get on to the other announcement we've got to do here, brand awareness, but associations of brands, it's something that is growing in harness racing, and I think you love your American sport and I love my car racing. I think it's a no-brainer on how we can actually grow our industry is having brand association.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very important. It's just it's very natural and it's important. It's just an important aspect of business nowadays.
Last year, you guys were sponsored by Barristock. You still feed and use Barristock. You're still sponsored buy Barrostock this year going forward as well? One, the way the yearlings have turned out, you must be wrapped in one, how they look.
Yeah, well, like I said to you before, you're never quite sure how your horses look compared to others because you see them all the time, and I think they look good. So I'm glad you thought they looked good as well. So that's good, and that's the thing with the yearling prep as well. Like everyone always talks about that, 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 12 weeks, but it's really everything before that. So you bring them in, it should just be about, teaching them to walk properly, and getting their coat, right and toning them up a little bit. Like so much of how the horse's preparation is more just the whole way through. That's what we feed Barrostock. We're really happy with the product and happy with the results that we're getting.
Being happy with the product is one thing. The after sales service and in like issues, they're terrific to deal with. And I'm not saying that because I am sponsored by them. I know you can actually ring them up at it.
Everyone, Paul.
Everyone. I haven't got a jock sponsor yet. If anyone's out there, don't you worry about that. But it is key. I mean, you can ring them and ask them. You can have trouble with certain horses, and they'll come up and help you, or they can help you over the phone and advise you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly right, 100%. And they've got a relationship with KER, and I think still, as far as I know. So, and they've obviously, world leaders in that sort of equine, research. So, yeah, we've been really happy with them.
And the results at the Magic Millions just the other day, I know there was plenty of farms advertising that they use them. I mean, proofs in the pudding. And Ridley are just a major company as well. A lot of people get that mistaken, but and like you said, KER, another world-known feed product.
Yep.
They are business partners as well.
Yep.
So, Barty, you've got some really good news to say with Barrostock as coming on board with the Nutrient family.
Yeah, look, it is exciting. We've had an approach from Barrostock. They've said, look, they've really seen that opportunity to really specialise in yearling prep, like you say, in the thoroughbred market, but also in the standardbred market. And they've come in with a 2-year sponsorship deal to, I guess, promote their brand, but particularly focus on the importance of great nutrition for young athletes, so that we get these young horses right. The likes of products like Breed and Grow. I know these guys have got. Here is something it's well known, like you say, not just here but also at Lowalong Farms are using the product. I know other clients of ours in the performance horse game that are using Barrostock product and having terrific success, but maintaining consistency with their programs.
Well, sorry, Brett.
No, I was going to say, just off like talking about that young athlete, like Plymouth Chubb and Courage Stride came off the farm. They grew up on Barrostock, so it's done them pretty good.
Look at him go. He can drop on better than me. But they're both trotters, Brett.
I know, yeah, no, trotters are the future. Hot to trotters, Duncan McPherson would say.
You got one bloke very close. You're just rolling around on the ground, but he's okay. He's embracing the trotters too now. But the brand awareness and getting it out there is what I keep banging on about. But to have a company like Ridley with Barrostock coming on board is just more confident with Nutrient and what you guys have been able to do.
Look, and looking at the bigger brand of Nutrient, the Ag Solutions, our retail business, we've as a company enjoyed a terrific working relationship with Ridley for a long time. When you then drill it down into specifics, like into our equine business, it's great to see the passion that they've got for the equine market. As people that we're dealing with, and myself, I love my horses. Don't care what they are, whether they're camp draft horses, race horses, or pony club horses. You want them well looked after, and that passion's evident when you deal with these guys. And like I say, our businesses build relationships with like-minded businesses where we've got mutual benefit, and I'm sure that'll be the case with Barrostock.
And the mutual benefit is key because they're already involved here with Alabar, as you said, Lowalong Farms, Kath McIntosh as well. They're major sponsors there as well, major feed suppliers there as well as sponsors, and then they also get the branding out. So that was another way of actually growing what Nutrient's all about.
Yeah, look, and I think what was a really a good conversation I had actually with Harness Racing New South Wales, and talking to John Dummersney the other day, and he said, just remember, he said, these 2-year-olds you'll sell at Sydney, and he said, for that matter, Melbourne, he said, they're not just a run of them. He said, they will be some of the elite athletes in our sport in the years to come. So he said, it's incredibly important the way we promote them leading into the sales, but it's incredibly important how they're prepped and how they get set up for these trainers to bring a horse to the racetrack in the next 12 months. And I think gee, that comes with a responsibility. So you want strong relationships with good companies, and Barrostock are one of those.
The draft of horses this draft year, impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, I think that's one of the privileges we've had coming into the market, Alabar in particular, but I won't miss a brand and miss a stable, but we've been blessed to have some of the best horse flesh in the country, as well as some of the most passionate, I think, long-term thinking people that are actually here for the long term. It's not about what we get at next year's yearling sale, it's what will this industry be in 2021, 2025, 2030, and we want to be part of that in 2030. So, this draft, they're awesome. I love learning the horses 2 years ago. I was excited to see the first run of the Vincents that we sold, and a couple of those there again this year. Like, they're pretty impressive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and one of the things, Brett, like this is a little bit of a new role for me, and I know a lot of people, but the openness of a lot of these farms, not only to come to Nutrien, but just to embrace that little bit of change. It's key. There's so many. We're not going to say all the studs, but like I've been around looking at horses, and people give up their time just to showcase the horses to me. It's imperative that's how you grow a business.
Absolutely, and the good thing about standardbred people is they love horses, and they want to show them off, and they want to grow the industry. So yeah, the breeders especially, I don't know, just a really good bunch of people, really, and open to change, as you said, and that's important.
Yeah, and they don't mind to talk, which is a worry for me.
Yeah, definitely.
he went quiet on that. The Sydney sale, it's fast approaching the 20th of Feb. It's going to be here. It's going to be an exciting new complex, Warwick Stud Farm. Sorry, I keep going Warwick Stud, but Warwick Farm in Sydney. But it's going to be exciting. It's great that we've got some farms here from Victoria. So anyone that's here in Victoria, make sure you get to Alabar, Lower Long Farms, and there's someone else.
The Galthorne draft.
Galthorne as well.
Really impressive draft of horses.
They're all heading up, so make sure you get here to look at them beforehand. But it will be online. But make the trip, make a weekend of it, and get up to Sydney and have a bit of fun.
Look, the thing is, it's the early sale. I know there's a lot of people like to see it's a benchmark, or it sets the market for the season. It'll be the first Sydney sale. What is really good is we've got some great New South Wales bred horses. We've also got some Vic bred horses. I think these days, if there's good racing, people will go across borders. That's not a problem. We've learned to live with the COVID restrictions, and so that's not a restriction this year. But like I say, with that 20th of February sale, the Alabar draft, we've got, I think, about 8 that these guys have got coming. I know that there's the run of the Lauriston draft are going to Sydney this year, so we don't need to introduce how good that mare lines are on their stable. Like I say, the Galthorne draft, you and I saw them before Christmas, and they tell me they've just grown another leg. So there's some really impressive horses coming to Sydney this year.
And it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, I think, as well, Brett. I don't know, this complex, and I know it's been used for the other sales, a few times, but it is a purpose-built venue to sell horses. Yeah,
it's a really good venue, and you got the hotel on course, so to speak. And look, part of it, obviously, this is a business. Business for every breeder that goes up there, but it has to be fun as well. And that was probably something, one of the things we stressed with Mark, is that these sales have to be fun, they have to be an event. You want them to be as big as, your big race meetings. So people will go to the sale, have a good time, buy some good horses, look at some horses, have some fun. That's the whole idea. So, I see no reason why Sydney won't be. It's going to be a cracking race meet there the night before the Chariots of Fire. It's always one of the best races on the calendar, and then hopefully 100 star lots go through the next day, and I'll get nice homes and make plenty of money.
Everyone gets their reserve and some, and everyone walks out happy, which possibly won't happen that way. We must remember though, April 3rd. April 3rd. I had the right date. I actually thought I'd got in trouble with Melbourne. A lot of people probably are worried that it's going to be forgotten. It won't be forgotten. I mean, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a date that we're going to remember for the sale for years to come, I think.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's just a different type of sale. The horses are going to be bigger and more mature, and that sale, and that's good. But yeah, no, it's a quality catalogue when you look through the Melbourne sale as well. I know here we've got. One of our best colts is the My Mackenzie colt by Art Major. Well, that's going through the Melbourne sale, and hopefully it makes lots of money because it needs to. But there's plenty of good horses in that sale, and that's just it's a different sale, as I said. So no, I'm still pumped for that sale as well, for sure.
And with that sale, Barto harassed the trotters. They've come on board, as you say about race sponsors with the trotting series and the likes. They've got a huge draft. There's a great draft of trotters. It's very, very exciting what the trotters got on offer, but paces as well. So people don't need to think it's just a trotting sale in April.
No, look, it's certainly by far, it'll be the strongest trotting catalogue, the Melbourne catalogue this year in Australia. The Aldebaran draft coming on board along with what we had last year, I think it complements what we've got. Just a tick under half the catalogue are actually trotters. But what I've actually found talking to people, even at our vendors in Sydney and people in Sydney, they're saying, look, I'm hoping for a good result Sydney, but I need to find a mare, and I hope I'm going to know how much cash I got out of the Sydney sale. And that's what I'm saying. I said, you look at the mare power, trotters and pacers in the Melbourne catalogue. I'm hoping we can actually convert as a good agent would. You're trying to give you some money from a sale and I want to take it straight back off you and invest in another horse. But I think that is one of the benefits of two sales. The other benefit, like these guys, it was hard work for them to put a big draft of horses through last year. I know a lot of people have said, look, I'm going to take my later foals to the Melbourne catalogue and early foals to Sydney, or in this case, when you're standing a stallion, make sure he's represented in both markets. And I think there's a whole host of reasons. The Queensland market's really strong, so you're seeing interest from Queensland to come to Sydney. So I think it works well, and we will continue to listen. That result to go to two markets, there's added work for us, but that was feedback from the market, so we've hopefully reacted in the right way for them.
Yeah, I really like it, and I think it's good. You actually were going to say one thing then, but one thing I do want to say to you, Brett, we had this is an unofficial comment and all the rest, but the depth in fillies in this nutrient sale is very, very exciting, isn't it? If you want to get into breeding, it's an exciting sale to be a part of.
It absolutely is, and I try to. Taking the Alabama as a vendor off, look at all the catalogues for fillies, because you're always interested in potentially buying a filly, and the nutrient one, there's a fair few there that if we have a decent sale, we might be reinvesting in some. So definitely strong.
He's trying to be a bit coy there. I don't know if you noticed that. He's like, no, we won't pump this up too much.
We did that last year and spent 170 grand, which is probably more than we wanted to spend. So a bit coy about that. But that's definitely some strong fillies in there for sure. And some of those ones, like if you look at the trotters, like as I said before in our other interview, Pat's done a lot of the heavy lifting there, importing these mares. Now, without talking him down or anything, he's probably not going to get what he's out of that first foal, what he spent on getting those mares across. So that's a great opportunity for buyers, to go in there and get access to some blood that you're not normally going to get access to.
The thing, adding back to what Pat did last year, fundamentally met the market, and people got that, and even the online sales we've run over the last 6 months, the Yabby Dam draft have been fundamentally unreserved, and people are going there with a lot of buyer confidence. And I think exactly what he said to me, he said, look, we hope for better numbers, but we also hope people know we're genuine sellers. We're not keeping our best horses, we're selling our drafter horses, and that entire draft that they feel are fit for the sale, every one of them are there. So I think it's a huge opportunity in a period of growth where trotting females are going to be really valuable, particularly, we're 62,500 for a 2-year-old trotting filly for the race incentive, and then they come back for 125 as a 3-year-old. So there's good incentives and probably a 30-40 to 1 chance of actually taking home some of that money.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing too that's key. People are sellers. Like Brett, you said last year you bought a horse for 170,000. But you sold. You like how I say that, don't you? Just rolled it off. but you guys are sellers. I mean, that horse is for the next stage of the farm, which we actually alluded to in that conversation. But predominantly, you guys are sellers. All your horses are there for sale. They've got a reserve on them. You meet the reserve, that they go, and you want them because that's how you improve your numbers here as a farm.
Look, the reality is we've spent a boatload of money on improving, our broodmare band, and we've got 2 of the ones, out of Nike Franco and My Mackenzie we bought back from America, and they certainly weren't cheap at all. So it's a huge amount of money we've got to recoup, and you don't get that by keeping them. So they're there for sale, and they'll have reserves on them. All our horses have reserves on them, but it'll, they're what we think are reasonable reserves, and generally that's, we meet the market. So, and I think that's the thing with most vendors nowadays, like they'll tell you what their reserve is. I know with Pat, I asked him straight out what his reserve was, and he said, and I thought, well, that's a lot of money, but okay. And we ended up buying the horse, and his reserve was nowhere near what we ended up paying for it. So it's not like he was being unreasonable in the end. So but most vendors will do the same. Like they'll tell you what their reserve is, and then and then you can go, well, okay, that's fits in my budget, or it doesn't fit my budget. So yeah.
I can say a good and bad part for you. When you actually did purchase that horse, I was standing in front of you. So I know you were nervous about putting your hand up. I was nervous about scratching my nose because I was like, surely they won't want to knock it down to me. So I understand where your nerves were coming from.
No, absolutely. And I'm still nervous about it, to be honest. Like, it's a huge amount of money, but luckily Alan was there with us and told us to keep going. So if it doesn't turn out any good, it's his fault.
There wasn't a lot of hesitation in Al, I will say. He was pretty quick on, go on. He didn't. He was okay with it.
It is, you can tell. It's the first time I've ever spent anywhere near that sort of money on a yearling, so you can tell why people like doing it, because it does give you a bit of a rush. But as soon as you sign the ticket, you realise it's now you now own it, and it's got to earn that back for you. So.
It's good going home to the wife, though, and saying, I spent $170,000, but I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, true. Well, it's even good just from the Alabar accounts. We didn't have to actually fork out the 170; just got taken off our proceeds. So,
Mark, we will wrap this up, but we must make sure that everyone's aware of the harness racing rehome sale that's happening at Tamworth, which is I'm going to get my dates 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I think. That's starting up, really hotting up. I've been doing a few things at some of the camp drafts. The feedback I'm getting from people from New South Wales and Victoria as far as the rehoming goes, but also the camp drafters, this is really starting to gain a lot of momentum, isn't it?
Yeah, look, there's friendly banter from the guys that are involved, but we're getting to the business end where $5,000 to the winning rider to their charity of their choice, and that's a good thing for them, and they want to win for that reason. But the horse that wins the draft also gets $3,000 for that trainer. Harness New South Wales Rehoming have also they've supported these guys with $2,500 to train a horse, but unlike normally that would be at $300 a week, they've taken these horses for 4 and 5 months, and they've done a job on them. They are some of the best. Yeah, they're in the top percentage of men and women in the country. But we were at Tumut there last weekend, and people are watching and people are understanding it. And I think the appreciation for the animal beyond racing, it's not just a trail rider. There's other opportunities out there, and I think it's exciting. I think it's also what started for a lot of people on the edge is looking at it as a bit of a sideshow. Is hang on, these things are actually doing some things that we didn't expect, and every one of them, the foundation that a horse has been in work in harness racing's had makes for a really safe option. Particularly, I'm saying that mustering horse in central and North Queensland, where they rely on probably 1st and 2nd year ringers. A lot of them are Sydney, Melbourne-based kids that have a gap year, and they might have really minimal skills in riding. So these horses are really fit for that purpose, where they can do a hard day's mustering. You can have choppers overhead. When they're actually chopper mustering, they can actually do 20, 30 k's a day. In 30 or 35 degree heat, but they're built for that. They're a tough animal, but they're a sensible, predictable animal, and I think it's really good. While we're saying that, Ringers Western, we talk about a sponsor. I've got some merchandise, but no, the Ringers guys, pair of jeans that I actually ordered that turned up yesterday. So want to give Andrew McDonald and the team at Ringers Western, they've not just to sponsor their brand, but they just ring us up. Brett Welsh, one of the trainers, is a sponsored rider, and he said, look, we love this, how do we get on board? And you'll see them on social media. Ringers Western, they are our corporate outfitter for the whole nutrient business. They're very, very good people to deal with. They're Australian owned, heart and souls in the bush in rural and regional Australia. And they've come on board. They've actually got a horse you guys know better than me, Montefiore, and they've actually sponsored to bring a horse that's won 600 back to this as a wildcard entry with Michael Wilson. What did he say? He said the veteran horse and the veteran trainer are going to take on these young guns, but. Yeah, he is a lovely horse. You'd be able to tell me about him on the track. But Michael just said, he said, I've fallen in love with just the attitude. A beautiful horse to be around.
I think it's great, Brett. If you take one more step, your Ringers pants won't be even in the picture, so don't you worry about that. The one thing I do like when I talk to all these guys, they actually love it and love the challenge. There is one thing they all resonate. I don't know Brett Welsh very well, but they all want to beat him. That is the one thing. Okay. But they are actually honestly excited about it and excited about showcasing them to a whole different audience. Yeah,
it's great. It's really good. It's something I've had very little exposure to. I had some friends back in WA that around there that used to do camp drafting and that sort of thing, but it's nothing. I've only ever been on a horse once, so it's nothing I can relate to at all. But but it's exciting. Like it's something new. It's exposing to a different market. It's showing, I know every horse is different and everything, but horses are horses, and it's great that our standardbreds can get appreciated by another group. Yeah, discipline. Yeah, exactly. So
can I give you just a life lesson? Don't ever take your 15-year-old daughter there and expect to sort of walk away and not have them fall in love. It's a bad career move.
Yeah, no. You never, no, definitely don't do that. So
the good thing, Brett, is Campbell's comments won't stop, because he'll need at least 10 years to buy the saddle and the horse and the new gear that he's going to need for Holly, so they can come. She actually jumped on one of our horses that my 9-year-old competed, and she I could see she's already getting the bug for it, and I'd say he's broke for the next 10 years. And I've already put out the offer. It's $25 to be an insured rider in the Southern Camp Draft in Victoria, and I'm happy to bring the horses down and help Holly experience another equine discipline.
The saddest part about everything he said, it's not a lie. That's the actual truth. He did get me in a lot of trouble.
He breeds and trains horses. Well, Marie does as well. So, I mean, you're known to spending a fair bit of money anyway. So what's another horse?
I need ringers. Ringers, if you're out there, Andrew. I need a set of pants. I must say on ringers too, they are not just jeans and pants and boots. They are everything. If you follow their socials, you'll get the whole range from everything from swimwear to full dress wear. Don't you worry about that. I'm telling you, it opened my eyes. I haven't got anything yet. Don't worry. When I'm walking in them, I'll be right. Don't you worry about that. People want to keep up with the camp draft, they go to nutrienequine.com.au. I'll be there for the week anyway as well. But if people want to keep up with it, and the online sale commences on the Friday, 12 o'clock, and concludes Saturday at 12 o'clock.
No, start at 10 o'clock Friday, and we'll finish on 3 o'clock on the Saturday. But for anyone that's out there, if you're someone that's looking to get a quiet horse for someone to get going, these horses will have an extended reference from the trainers that have been on them since they've come off the track, what they've done with them and what they recommend they're probably suitable for. They'll be listed at $2,500 online, and that auction will stay open for that day and a half, and $500 bids, $3,000, they're all on the market. What that does, that recovers the costs that we've put into training them. It's a break even then. It gives a little bit back to the trainers that have done the work, and hopefully we can make an annual event. But they genuinely are with some of the best men and women in the country that know how to educate a horse. And I think there's horses there for, you're spending $8,000 and $10,000 for a young stock horse gelding at the moment to go to work. $3,000, these are unreserved effectively. They're horses that have had, in fairness, probably $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 worth of training on them. And there's an opportunity for people to get into genuinely sound, re-educated horses that have got a lot of young horses with a big future.
Hi, Barton. Thank you very much. Brett Coffey, thank you. Well done to Alabar Farms, Barristock for coming on board as well as a major feed sponsor, plus Ringers Western with the nutrient draft. And Montefiore was an exceptional horse, wasn't he? Exceptionally fast. I keep telling the guys he had blinding closing speed.
Yep, super quick horse.
He was indeed. But well done to everyone. The nutrient standardbred sale will be 20th of February in Sydney. We'll be ramping plenty of that going up to that. Don't forget April 3rd here in Melbourne. And then, as I said, the standardbred online rehoming auction for New South Wales harness racing rehoming, as well as nutrient and Ringers Western starts, I think, on the 2nd, but the actual auction itself goes online from the 4th and 5th.
That might be the 5th and 6th, but right. Yeah, the Friday, Saturday.
I'm going good, aren't I? 12 to 12. It's actually 10 till 3 and different dates, but I've got everything else sorted.
The only other thing, well, we've had interest from a number of standardbred harness racing people interested in coming to Tamworth. So if you are, let us know so that we can work out some catering and we can organise to look after anyone that comes along. That Thursday night, we'll see these standardbred rehomed horses in the competition, but during the day you'll see performance horses sold. We'd like to be able to put on a lunch or look after people in the industry. We'd love to look after you.
I've had a look at the dates and times for that, and it is 7 o'clock on the Thursday. I think it's 6 o'clock the day before and 4 o'clock the day before that. So it's a good excuse. I already know quite a few trotting guys that are going to be up there. Toby McKinnon's actually going to sneak his way up there, he tells me today, so which is exciting. Bardo, thank you very much.
No, my pleasure, mate. Thank you, and thanks to Alabar, thanks to Barristock, and thanks to Campbell's comments.
No worries at all. And Brady, thank you very much, and well done to Alabar for coming on board in such a strong way. I think it's terrific, and it's a great way to grow our sport.
No worries at all. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Mark.